Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor who presided over Jesus' trial, is a central and enigmatic figure in the Gospels. His story raises profound questions about justice, morality, and the inner struggle when confronted with truth. As an authority figure, Pilate made decisions that would not only shape the history of Jerusalem but also the fate of the world. He is remembered as the man who washed his hands before the crowd, attempting to absolve himself of responsibility for condemning Christ. However, his effort to evade the truth only underscores the weight of his choices and their eternal consequences. Pilate served as governor of the province of Judea from AD 26 to 36 during the height of the Roman Empire. As Rome's representative, his primary role was to maintain order in a region marked by constant tension between the imperial government and the Jewish people. Jerusalem, in particular, was a flashpoint due to its religious significance and the political fervor that frequently sparked uprisings. Pilate was not a popular leader among the Jews. He made decisions that provoked widespread outrage, such as bringing Roman standards into Jerusalem, a move considered idolatrous by the Jews, and using temple funds to finance the construction of an aqueduct. These actions heightened public discontent and strained his relationship with Jewish leaders. Pilate's encounter with Jesus occurred during Passover, a time when Jerusalem was filled with pilgrims from all over. After arresting Jesus, the Jewish leaders brought him to Pilate because, under Roman rule, they lacked the authority to carry out executions. They accused Jesus of claiming to be the king of the Jews, a charge that could be interpreted as a threat to Caesar's authority. When Pilate interrogated Jesus, it became clear to him that Jesus was not a political rebel. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place." These words must have intrigued Pilate, who stood before a man whose calm demeanor and profound statements set him apart from anyone Pilate had ever encountered. Pilate asked Jesus, "Then you are a king?" And Jesus replied, "You say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." Pilate's response to this declaration was a question that still echoes today. What is truth? This moment reveals Pilate's inner conflict. He was face to face with the embodiment of truth but seemed unable to fully grasp or accept it. As a governor, Pilate was accustomed to making practical, expedient decisions, but now he was confronted with a reality far deeper than he was prepared to handle. Pilate faced a dilemma. On the one hand, he knew that Jesus was innocent and posed no real threat to the Roman Empire. In Luke, he told the crowd, "I find no basis for a charge against this man." On the other hand, he was under intense pressure from the Jewish leaders and the crowd, who were shouting for Jesus' crucifixion. Matthew's account adds another layer of tension. Pilate's wife sent him a message saying, "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him." This warning must have disturbed Pilate, but he remained torn between his conscience and the demands of political expediency. The Jewish leaders employed a dangerous tactic to manipulate Pilate. They said, "If you let this man go, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who claims to be a king opposes Caesar." This accusation implied that Pilate could be accused of treason if he did not act against Jesus. Facing this threat, Pilate capitulated. He tried to shift the responsibility to the people by offering to release a prisoner, as was customary during Passover. However, the crowd chose Barabbas, a notorious criminal, over Jesus. Ultimately, Pilate washed his hands before the crowd, declaring, "I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility." Despite this symbolic gesture, Pilate could not escape responsibility for his decision. He authorized Jesus' crucifixion, condemning an innocent man to protect his position and avoid potential unrest. The Gospels do not record what happened to Pilate after Jesus' crucifixion, but tradition and historical accounts offer some clues. Some suggest that he was recalled to Rome due to his poor governance in Judea and eventually fell out of favor. Early Christian traditions even suggest that Pilate may have repented of his actions and converted to Christianity, though these accounts are not widely accepted by historians. Regardless of Pilate's ultimate fate, his story challenges us to reflect on how we deal with truth in our own lives. He stood face to face with the truth, yet chose the path of convenience over justice. His attempt to evade responsibility by washing his hands has become a universal symbol of moral cowardice. Pilate's story teaches profound spiritual lessons. Truth demands a response. Pilate asked, "What is truth?" but did not wait for an answer. He was standing before Jesus Christ, the embodiment of truth, yet lacked the courage to defend him. This challenges us to confront truth in our own lives and to act upon it, even when it is difficult or unpopular. Pilate succumbed to the pressures of the world. He prioritized his position and personal security over doing what was right. Often, we face similar pressures to compromise our values. Pilate's story reminds us of the importance of standing firm, even in the face of opposition. As tragic as Pilate's story is, it also points to God's grace. Despite the injustice and suffering that Jesus endured, his death brought salvation to the world. This reminds us that God is able to redeem even the worst circumstances to fulfill his eternal purposes. Pilate washed his hands, but not his conscience. His actions and omissions remain a cautionary tale for us all. If you liked this video and want to know more about the characters that surrounded the life of Christ and formed the rich biblical story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and send this video to your friends. Turn on notifications to know when new videos come out.